The Small Business Owners Community Digital Summit presented by the Connection Agency on May 1st. Well, it's coming up quick. And today we get to talk with one of our presenters. And we're talking about sales. And we're talking about sales because we got to get better at sales. You need to make more money. I need to make more money. And nothing happens until something is sold. It's the lifeblood of our small business, and we all want to get better at it. Leading the topic of sales at the summit is one of our friends, Dr. Donna Smith-Bellinger, CEO of DS Bellinger Consulting, LLC. Dr. Donna, before we get into the interview and stuff, it's great to see you. How have you been?
It is great to see you too, Pat. And I've been doing really well, getting busy. And Q1 was good. Q2 will be better.
Yeah.
And for those who are not paying attention, by the time we do this summit, you're going to be moving into another quarter. And before you know it, the year will be gone. And you'll be looking back going, what happened? Am I where I want to be? What happened to my plans?
Hey, I was going to do great this year. What's going on? Well, let's start with the basics, shall we?
Okay.
Why do you think having a product, a website, and an online presence isn't enough to grow the bottom line for small businesses like us?
I honestly think, Pat, that far too often we're looking as business owners for the easy button. We want to do whatever is most comfortable and easy lifting for us for growing our business. We have great confidence. Far too often I hear people say, I'm looking for anybody who, I'm looking for everybody who, if you know somebody who, which means you're serving no one. It's just far too broad. So if you're looking for people strictly in the digital space, then that means that you are overlooking the money that you could be making in the face-to-face or in real life space. You cannot just stay in one particular spot. Everything changes. There are a lot of people who can use your service. You've already noticed that, regardless to what your product or your service is, how grand or how humble, it doesn't matter. It has value to someone who will willingly pay you not to have to deal with that themselves. That's the way most of us buy. And so you want to ensure that you're touching all of those spaces, which means you need to be able to communicate the same message across all of your platforms, but to different listeners.
Oh, okay. That hit me. Who should be paying close attention here when people learn from you and your talk on May 1st, sales is not about wait and see. Who's the person that's going to get the most out of the strategies you teach?
My introverts first, because my introverts, I love you all. I've worked with a lot of you, but you are what we would call order takers. You want the people who just come to you and say, yes, I want your service. What do I have to push in order to get it? Okay. So this will give you an opportunity to not talk past them saying yes. I had a wonderful person, one of my clients, I have my clients record their discovery calls and presentations. And when she recorded hers and we listened to it together, she says, I know you're going to beat me up because he said yes. And I kept talking until I talked him out of it. I was like, yeah, yes, you did. He says, what do we do next? She says, well, I want you to think about, and it's not about being the smartest person in the room. And sales is not icky, sleazy, or slimy. It is service. When you communicate the value of what you're offering, such that they say either, how can we work together? Or I have someone that I want you to meet. It's time for you to shut up. I'm just saying. It's time for you to shut up and just tell them how to take the next step, because they've already bought into your expertise and your value.
That's
So those people who have gotten so far and now all of a sudden they plateaued, those people who are nervous or reticent to be able to ask for the next step. Or if they say, well, how much is it to work with you? And you go, well, we know you don't do this regularly. You don't have success regularly. These are the people. And most importantly, the people who hear from their prospects, well, I need you to get back to me. That's not a yes. And one of my statements is only yes is yes.
This is why I love talking sales with you because you're so clear, yet you understand the struggles that we go through. Because a lot of us do what you just described. We sell past the close. Is that what it is? Keep on selling after they've said yes. Yeah, like, be quiet. And the other thing is, a lot of us, me included, we're afraid of following up and continuing the pursuit of the sales. Oh, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be this. So uh, when we talk about this in your sales is not about wait and see conversation, uh, what are we going to go over here? Because I think a lot of people are afraid of that.
The first person you have to sell in the value of your business, your product, your service is yourself. That's the first person, and it's your hardest sale because that's where the confidence comes from when you're presenting the opportunity to work with you. That's also where the confidence comes from to decide who you choose not to work with. All money is not good money. And so just because they say yes doesn't mean you should welcome them into the family. So we will be talking about how to determine if this is a good prospect for you. And we'll go through what that process is like to pre-qualify. The other thing we're going to talk about is something, my acronym for it is SPA, SPA, your suspects, your prospects, and your ambassadors. In any group that you work with, they're the people you suspect maybe eventually you may be able to do business with them. Then you've got the warm people who are ready to have a conversation with you. Those are your prospects. And then you've got the people that you'll never do business with, but they know the people that you want to do business with. And they have the influence and the ability to bring you into rooms and give you a brilliant recommendation in those rooms. So once you determine where your person falls, and once you have mastered how to pre-qualify them so that you know how to, this is one of my things too, decide if you want to keep that lead, toss that lead, or donate it to someone else.
That's
Those are key things.
That's awesome. And marketing is such a big piece of that. You say that marketing gets you known, but sales gets you paid. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I love that phrase.
Sure. When you're marketing, marketing gives you visibility and it can give you credibility if you're doing case studies, testimonials, things like that. But when you get to a certain price point, like if you're over $9.99, they're going to want to have a conversation with you. They're going to want to be confident that they are making the safe investment working with you. They want to know that you have, like I said, proof of concept. And you don't get that just through the marketing. Do you want them to keep Googling forever? Because they can eventually find people who didn't like you as well as they find people who do. You want them to hear your story, same story across all of your platforms, such that they want to have a conversation with you. And that is how you're able to determine where they will fall in your sales process. And whether it's working or whether it's not working, you do have this process right now.
I love that. And I know that you're going to tackle this during the digital summit on May 1st. A common question that people ask is, okay, I'm out there doing the thing and I'm marketing and I've got leads and I'm working it, but sometimes the sales cycle is just dragging. If we're in one of those down periods,
Mhm.
what would you tell us?
One of the things that you have to do, Pat, that I've been in sales for a very, very long time. So I started out in education. I moved over into corporate. I was a corporate trainer and salesperson in tech agencies. And then I also had my own business. Here's the thing you need to remember. Three things. Number one, what is the scope of work for that project? In other words, what is their desired outcome? Okay, you need to know that. You need to know the time frame. When do they need this solved? 3 months ago or next quarter? And then you also need to be extremely clear that you are talking to the person who can either influence or approve the yes.
But
If you keep getting put off, you don't have the right stakeholder in your crosshairs.
isn't that true? My goodness, haven't you sold the wrong person in the past? Like, oh, I've got an advocate, but they can't make the decision. And that's not helping anybody. All right, we're going to wrap up here in a second. We're excited about sales is not about wait and see at the Digital Summit on May 1st. If someone is stuck a little bit, they need a little bit of actionable advice. If they're struggling with the wait and see part of the sales cycle, can you give us like a post-it note before we get into the full thing on May 1st? Like if someone's stuck right there, what advice would you give them?
The advice that I would give them is to go back and take a look at what has happened to you previously. Look at the clients you have worked with that you enjoyed working with. Where did you find them? What made them the good choice for you to work with? And go back to the beginning. Go where you found them.
All right, between now and May 1st, if people want to learn more about you and how you teach people, where would they go?
You can visit my website, www.askdsb.com, askdsb.com. My clients came up with that. So they were like, okay, if we don't know what to do, what do? We ask DSB. So use that. I was like, okay, fine. If you like it, I love it.
It's got a little bit of a rhythm too. Ask DSB, like it's catchy. I like that. Well, the Small Business Owners Community Digital Conference presented by the Connection Agency on May 1st. We are blessed to have Dr. Donna Smith Bellinger, the CEO of DS Bellinger Consulting, on the show. It's going to be great. Dr. Donna, we'll see you May 1st. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Pat. I'm looking forward to the summit.